wanna trap like bitch, you wanna trap like
Live from the Hawkeye State, we welcome race fans one and all to Newton, Iowa, where we get set to go racing once again in the TNGG IEL Truck Series. It's the Hogpack 100, and it is race number 4. Hello, one and all, and welcome to Green Flag TV. My name is Lola Wemple with Daniel Paulus Jr. beside me in the broadcast booth. Together, we're going to bring you all the coverage from tonight's 100-mile, 118-lap race here in Iowa. It's the short track that races like a speedway, as it is so commonly referred to as here, Daniel. That's due in part to the large speeds that you can get around this track that aren't really comparable with almost any other short track in America, save, of course, for Bristol Motor Speedway. It's a lot like Richmond, but it is, of course, just that little bit bigger, 0.875 miles instead of 0.75, and it's a bit wider as well. Passing can be a challenge here, especially from the inside. What do you think that'll mean for the racing here tonight?
Yeah, for sure. So Iowa Speedway is just like a short track, just like Richmond, a little bit bigger, a little bit wider. That makes it easier for passing here, but the passing here is kind of difficult. Once you're out in the lead here, it is really hard to get around the driver.
It's going to be a fun race for sure, and it'll be a difficult race for a lot of the drivers in this field. We'll take a look at your official championship standings entering tonight's race, where Brad Slagle continues to try to walk out his points lead. He currently has 12 over the likes of Brandon McLaughlin, Bill Hales, brings up third, just 2 points back. It is nice and tight for second, third, and fourth, separated by just 3 points. It's only 10 points separating second on down through sixth. So all up inside the top 5 or so. Save, of course, for that battle for the race lead. It is very, very tight so far in your championship early on. Of course, anything can happen, and that gap still has the potential to just absolutely walk out to a monstrous gap.
And don't forget, this is only race 4 of this Truck Series season. So we just started in the beginning of April, and don't forget, this goes all the way to the end of October, so we got a long way to go.
A long way to go indeed in a 29 race schedule. We, of course, do have qualifying currently underway from the Iowa Speedway, and we'll check in on some of the drivers trying to put down some qualifying laps. Now we'll look to Colt Plaskowski, currently making his way around in the number 21 Chevrolet Silverado. He's right behind the likes of Dale Rapp. Dale Rapp currently working his way down into turn number 1.
And the one thing I want to point out here is that on the front straightaway there, as you saw the Colt, he was running the high lane. He wants to run the high lane, so that when he goes into the corner, he's going to dive down to the middle lane, into the low lane there, and he's going to shoot right back up to get a good corner exit to get a good, nice qualifying lap here at Iowa.
It's going to be enough for 7th place for Dale Rapp in his opening lap here. Colt Plaskowski going to go up to 7th place. Excuse me, Dale Rapp not putting down a qualifying lap in that first run. I believe he actually had that first lap invalidated, so he'll come around turn number 3 and 4 now. We'll see what he'll do on his second attempt out of qualifying, and it is again going to be no time logged for the likes of Dale Rapp. He's going to be falling way down to the back end of the field. Bill Hales crosses start finish. And for the number 40, it'll be enough for P11 on the board. So Hale's going to go to 11th. He'll rocket off of turn number 2. That was his first lap out of 2 for the Mount Washington, Kentucky native. Thought he might go for a second. He gets loosed off of turn number 2, and it looks like he's aborting his second lap.
For sure. It doesn't look like he's going to run for a second lap here, as you see the 40 of Bill Hayes come down the front straightaway. But like I was saying, you saw him coming into turn 1 using that middle lane so they can get a good exit. Truck 411 making his way down the pit road.
Tom Dixon also not able to put down a qualifying lap. We'll check back in on Brandon McLaughlin, the current number 2 runner in the points. Has not put a time on the boards as of right now. He'll cross start finish for his first time here this afternoon. It'll be 15th place for the driver in that number 81 Ford F-150. He'll take a second and swing at it. Gotta watch that wall off of 2, getting a bit tight up with the outside wall. He'll jam on the binders and rip it through turns 3 and 4. Will this be an improvement to push himself for the top 15? Oh. No, it's not. He's gonna lose the back end off of 4.
That's what you not want to see here during qualifying. It all started back there in turn 2 where he slammed that outside wall there. And it's really hard to judge, depending on your setup here. You know, if you're really loose coming out of that corner, you are going to smack the outside of that wall. And that's going to be really hard to control during this race.
It'll be a fun race for sure for a lot of the drivers out there tonight, and a difficult race for a lot of the guys up in this field as well. There is the rule you have to make a qualifying attempt, and you've got 23 trucks that were set to take it to the checkered flag. Of course, only 18 of those trucks have set times so far. So with qualifying coming to a close here in just a little while, we'll take a quick jump back. We're back with your starting grid live from the Iowa Speedway and the TNGG IEL Truck Series at the Hogpack 100.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Just a few seconds left in qualifying from Iowa Speedway and the Hogpack 100, and we welcome you once again to Green Flag TV, where we get set to go racing for 118 laps and 100 miles of the fourth race of the TNGG IEL Truck Series. Qualifying has wrapped on up. We'll take an official rundown of what your starting grid is going to be looking like going in for tonight's long race here from Iowa. And on pole position here tonight, it is going to be the likes of Josh Berry to take the pole. The driver out of Canada with a 23.551 top the practice sheets. He'll put himself on that front row. Brennan Gregg will be back in that second position, just 65 thousandths off. Julian Ballou down in third for row number 2, along with Patrick Hernandez. Thomas Lane Jr. is up in the top 5, with Christopher Howell tying him for that 5th spot down in 6th. Cole Plaskowski, the first driver over a 10th in 7th, with Aaron Raymond beside him on row number 8. Row 5 will round out the top 10 with Mike Allen and John Bawalda Jr. Row 6 holds Bill Hales and Jeremy Daring. 13th place holds Anthony Mata with Brad Slagle in 14th. It is Brandon McLaughlin in 15th with Robert Amaral in 16th. Alan Ising in 17th with Mike Rimkus down in 18th. Tom Dixon and Timmy Reed round of the top 20 with Dale Rabb, Michael Mayu, and Bill English. Rounding out tonight's expected 23 truck field as we get set to roll off from pit road here at the Iowa Speedway. It's going to be a fun race tonight. We're just waiting on Slagle, Mayu, and Dixon to see if they can't get themselves joined up on the starting grid before we get set to turn these trucks loose. And we've seen a lot of good races in the past at Iowa Speedway. We've seen a lot of good races in the series so far as well. Not even just at Daytona, but you look down to Atlanta and Phoenix for the last 2 weeks, and those races have both been fantastic in their own right. I think we can expect here, Daniel, to be seeing just as thrilling of a race here tonight.
For sure. We saw Daytona, Phoenix, and Atlanta. Like you said, these were great races so far for the TNGG Truck Series this season. And here we are at Iowa. Now we saw during qualifying McLaughlin get loose, hit the wall a few times. Now, is this what you're going to be seeing throughout the race? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. This is a pretty big field tonight, and I can't wait for what we see here tonight.
It's going to be a tough race for all the drivers involved as the field starts to roll off of pit road. We'll get set to go racing as all 23 trucks have taken it to the field. You're right on board here with the likes of Brad Slagle, who is going to be trying to see if he can get himself a good starting run up in that 14th position, starting from the outside line. It's going to be a tough ride for Slagle, starting from that 14th position, but he's proven before he can do a lot with a little, so we'll see what Slagle can do over the course of the night as these drivers are going to get set to lock themselves, square themselves away, and we'll go racing next time by. I guess before we get started here then, what do we think this race is going to be like? The Iowa Speedway can go one of two ways. It's either going to go green most of the way or we're going to have a caution fest. We haven't seen too many cautions yet so far in this series. A lot of the races have been good for that. I think we could be on a similar track for another almost flag-to-flag race here tonight from Iowa.
We could very well see a long green flag run here at Iowa. Not going to happen. We saw once again some truck drivers not attempt to qualify, but they did anyway. But some of them were having a struggle throughout qualifying. So it's kind of up in the air right now, knowing we're going to have a green flag run or we're just going to have back-to-back cautions. We're going to have to see how this plays out tonight.
Pace truck going to pull down in this time by. We're happy that you're joining us here on Green Flag TV for more TNGG IEL Truck Series action. As Pace truck pulls down in the pit road, we'll leave it in the hands of Josh Berry and the iRacing starter. As your field enters the Geico Restart Zone, green flag is up in the air. We're racing in the Hawkeye State.
And you see Josh Berry there coming out of turn 2, clearing the second place truck right now and down back straightaway, so clean. As you see the 51 and the 90 truck battling for third right now as they come to complete lap 1.
Josh Berry leads the first lap back to green. Brennan Gregg picks up the second position. Hernandez and Ballou continue to do battle for third on the racetrack, while the top two start to open up a gap. Right behind them, you've got Christopher Howell right behind. He's had some trouble the first few races, and trouble for Patrick Hernandez. He gets shoved up by Julian Ballou, almost into the outside wall. That's going to put a scratch then on the left side of that number 9 machine. He's going to drop back to 5th and try to stop the bleeding before Aaron Raymond can get by him for 6th.
That was some pretty interesting racing there throughout turns 3 and 4 there. Now that's what I'm talking. Some of these drivers are going to probably slip into each other in these turns here, but everybody else is racing clean right now as the 90 truck of Hernandez on the outside of the 6 truck of Raymond. Now Raymond, he's been a very talented driver so far this season. Can't wait to see what he can do as you see they're battling side by side entering turn 2.
The field currently on a good charge up and down throughout the field. We'll rocket back down in the turn numbers 3 and 4. Hernandez finally going to lose out to Raymond, is going to move up into that 5th position. It's just slide clear of the number 9. Patrick Hernandez cuts back down to the inside, trying to throw it up the inside into turn number 1. But again, passing on the bottom is always a challenge at Iowa. Passing in general is a challenge at Iowa. Raymond's going to pull clear from the top shelf. We'll check back in on battles deeper in the field. This is Bill Hales and Anthony Mata. They're scrapping it out for 14th and 15th on the racetrack. To the inside is going to be Mata on the Team IEL number 68 Ford F-150, trying to track up into Bill Hales. It's not going to happen, though. Hales hangs on for 14th place for now. Trouble for Bill English. He's into the grass on the front straightaway.
Not sure what happened there. It looks like he might have a flat tire. I'm not sure.
All good for Bill English. He's back rolling.
Yeah, that's very interesting there.
Get a look on what happened here to that number 86 truck here, as this was coming off of turn number 4. Just lost the back end, all in the zone. Very easy to do. The truck takes a slide into the infield grass. Does a good job, though, to keep that thing pointed the right direction and out of the inside wall. Could have been a lot worse. He'll just lose some time and get himself going. Might have some overheated tires as well. And you wonder if that might have anything to do with the track temperature. Only 91 degrees Fahrenheit, so it could have very well have just been cold tires for himself on the day. And Christopher Howell, also a driver, loses 7 positions. He's dropped from 5th now all the way back to about 7th. He's fighting out with Bliskowski now for that 7th spot.
It could very well be the temperature here at Iowa right now. And right where the 86 spun out turn 4, that is where McLaughlin spun in qualifying. So does that have to do something there with the track maybe? I have no idea. As you see here, a tight battle between the 1 truck and the 21 Blake.
Bliskowski, I believe that would be. Right behind them, John Walter Jr. and Brad Slagle in a fight of their own. Slagle trying to work his way up to the field. He's already +4 in the day. He's broken to the top 10, trying to get off of the bubble spot as he's right up alongside the HendrickCars.com Chevy Silverado of John Bawalda Jr. Slagle trying to push off of the second corner. It's not going to be any dice. We're down to 3, and now he's being put under fire by the likes of Brandon McLaughlin. The 3rd place run of the points just behind. McLaughlin going to pull around from the high side, and he's going to clear for the top 10. McLaughlin immediately jumping to the inside. He's going to lunge to the inside, John Bawalda Jr.
You want to be very careful here on the inside lane. Kid's going to slip into the outside lane, and that could cause a wreck. So you want to be very careful as you see the 81 McLaughlin getting around here in turn 3.
Good move from McLaughlin. Gets the 2-for-1 special in 1 lap. He's going to now try to chase after Cole Bliskowski, who's still in the fight with Christopher Howell and Patrick Hernandez. This is all for 6th, 7th, and 8th on the race course. Up at the front of the field, Josh Berry has continued to pull clear for the lead. He's now 4/10 clear of Julian Ballou, who himself is 6/10 clear of Brennan Gregg. Gregg, though, still having to worry about a charging Aaron Raymond, who slowly picked his way through the top 5. He's now trying to pressure for a potential podium position as our front runners again dive into turn numbers 1 and 2.
So far, so good for all these truck drivers here tonight. Besides the 86 of English having a little trouble there out turn 4. But everybody else is keeping it clean as we're going on lap 14 here at Iowa.
Slagle and Bawalda again side by side coming out of turn number 4. Down the front straightaway. diving low, and it's going to be clear for Slade this time by. Bawalda trying to go for the over-under, has to get out of it though. Would have run into the back of the 052 if he had gone for that move. So that's going to put Brad Slagle now up into the top 10, and he's going to be able to secure that position there as Bawalda drops back now to that 11th position. A bit further in the background as well, still got fights all the way throughout the field. You can see Michael Mayu on the inside trying to fend off Alan Isaac from the top shelf in the fight for 17th.
Yeah, and one driver I want to point out is Slagle. You know, he already made a ton of moves here tonight on lap 15. And he's already cracked the top 10, so I won't be shocked if he's up there later on this race, potentially for the race win. We don't know. It's too early to say that right now. As you see, the 44 under fire from the 52 coming down the front straightaways. The 52 is on the inside of the 44 of Isaac.
52 is going to pull clear. We'll jump back up to fights up in the front here as we're about to go 3 wide. Christopher Howell looking under and high, trying to find a way through on Hernandez. And Thomas Lane Jr. contact as Bliskow's going to send the one around it. Christopher Howell into the outside wall. Cautions out for the first time today on lap 17.
Yeah, that was just too many trucks in the corner at one time there. I don't think that's going to work here tonight.
It certainly did not, and it was this move by Colt Bliskowski that puts us under our first yellow flag of the evening. Almost looked like the one started to turn down, didn't quite realize he was side by side with another driver, and that's what sent him careening into the outside wall as he overcorrected his race truck. We'll get another look. This is going to be on board with Bliskowski here. Watch as the 21 goes to the inside, and the one just runs into the side of him on that deal.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like the one was trying to come down there, and from the other camera angle, it looked like the 21 was coming up, but he actually wasn't. The one was actually coming down, and it just, unfortunately, I don't know if he didn't see him down there, but it just clipped him enough to turn his truck around and get front-end damage now.
A lot of front-end damage on the front of Christopher Howell's Toyota Tundra. He's going to have to bring that thing down to pit road to get itself fixed. We've also got Timmy Reed, Michael Mayu, and yeah, that might actually be. We have a few trucks actually coming in. This is all from the back portion of the field, though. A lot of trucks from the back coming into pit road, and this could be a strategy call. Remember, there are strict fuel tank limitations. Usually these races end up being 2 or even 3 stoppers, as we've seen before. You reckon some drivers might be trying to go for a strategy call. The last stop typically tends to be a splash and go. Some drivers might be looking to get that splash and go out of the way early in the 44. It overshoots the box.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of time lost there for 44 now that he's. Don't count him out. Still early in this race. Got a long way to go. He could make it back up to the front as you see 411 truck making his way out of pit road. Drivers are heading back out on track. And we are going to re-rack them and take the green flag here soon.
Expect this to be a fairly short yellow as nobody was a lap down. I don't think anybody is still a lap down. We'll keep the lights on one more time, and I believe this will be 2 to go then. This is where it gets a bit interesting, right? Because now we're at that point in the race where the caution might have come at a just a late enough point that strategy could be potentially called into question. The guys at the back are going to be on 20-lap fresh tires. That is enough to make a fairly substantial difference on short tracks like this. You have to wonder if they're going to be able to blitz their way towards the front of the field here.
For sure. And this is what I was thinking, Nolan. Now, the drivers in the rear that were pitting, they probably got a splash of fuel and new tires. So now, let's say there's a long green flag run. Now, the drivers that are in the front, they're going to have to pit because they're going to be the tires are just not going to last. So when they pit, then the drivers that pitted before them, they're going to go right to the front. So that's what I'm thinking the drivers are thinking right now in the back of the field that pitted. I'm not sure, but that's what I'm thinking.
Lights are out. We go green flag racing this time by. It'll be lap number 22 of 118 when we take that green flag again. And so far, a very exciting opening run to this race. And again, this bodes well for how the rest of tonight's show could pan out.
Yeah, so far so great. Very exciting racing. Battle. I don't think intentional. Just good drivers, good clean racing, and that's what we want to broadcast and show you guys here at your house. So, thanks for joining TNGG Truck Series here in Iowa. And Nolan, it looks like they're ready to go back green.
Pace truck pulls down and then to pit road, this time by, once again, Josh Berry going to take us to the green flag, into the Geico restart zone. Green flag back in the air. We are back underway as Berry hightails it down towards turn number 1. Ballou trying to pull the outside. He's too deep. Aaron Raymond trying to put it 3 wide up the middle. He's not going to get the drive, though. Off of turn number 2. He'll have to tuck in line and stick it in for 3rd.
Yeah, we were about to go 3 wide there. As you see the 51 just struggling right now. And don't count that 27 truck of Greg. He is right there alongside the 6 truck of Raymond, heading down the front straightaway.
We rocket back down in towards turn numbers 3 and 4. The 6 of Raymond again looking for the inside. This is for the lead on Josh Berry. The fight is on. And behind, you have drivers starting to work their way slowly but surely throughout the field. Ballou way to the inside, almost onto the apron. Dive bombs into turn 1. That's going to cost the momentum, though, as Aaron Raymond is going to be able to pull clear from the outside.
And I thought there, knowing that the 51 there was going to... There, he might... But he somehow kept it straight, and they made it work. But as you see, the 51 under fire now from the 90 of Ferrandez.
The whole field still tightly packed together as we hightail it down the back straightaway. We check in on Brad Slagle and Brandon McLaughlin still in their own little fight. This is again for 8th on back. And Slagle trying to set up a move on that 81 truck and adjust up the road. Brennan Gregg and Patrick Hernandez, they're in a battle of their own now as we continue to try to make things happen. As we have a couple of trucks having some small connection issues further in the background, but they're going to get that sorted hopefully in a hurry. Look at the 27, Gregg to the inside of Hernandez, trying to make the move up into turn numbers 3 and 4.
And there's the 27 truck of Gregg right on the back quarter panel there of Ferrandez, as you see the 27 under fire here. The 6 of Raymond is looking to take the lead. 14 of Josh Berry and the 6 of Raymond are side by side in 3, and there is Raymond on the inside. He looks clear of the 14, come down the front straightaway.
Berry's not going to take that line down, though. He looks back to the inside, trying to make the move on Aaron Raymond to take that lead back, but he made that move too aggressively, cost himself so much momentum. He loses 3/10 in the span of 1 corner. And Aaron Raymond will be leading his first laps of the night. Thomas Lane Jr. trying to pick his way back into the field. He started up in 5th, dropped back early. Now he's trying to see if he can make something happen further up the road. While Mike Allen side by side with Andrew Mata for, I believe that would be for 12.
And look who's in the top 10 again, but made ground again here on this restart is 052 of Slagle. He was in 10th. But now he's up to 8.
More and more drivers trying to get themselves sorted up here in the mid-pack. As you can see, Hale's looking high, trying to find some momentum off of turn number 2 to set something up down the back straightaway and into turn 3. Allen jumps to the inside, tries to again throw it up the inside of Mata. There's just not a whole lot of room to make these passes happen over into turn numbers 3 and 4. You will see, though, Mata able to get alongside with Allen here this time by, and if Allen can secure this one down to turns 1 and 2, he could be on his way to break up into the top 10, but he's not going to be able to. Look at the drive that the 68 gets off of turn 2 there down the back straightaway.
And that's the one thing about the outside lane. You know, the 60 truck could be being really good on the inside, be side by side with you. You're going to have the advantage to get that off corner exit run to get past the 60 truck once again, as you see the 60 still battling there.
Whole lot of drivers completely under a blanket as it stands, and this is where all it's at here in the mid-pack. as Mata and Mata and Alex continue to do battle. All of them leading this train is Jeremy Daring up at the front of the train. It's worth noting that Christopher Howell picking his way through this grouping. He's one of those drivers that just came down to pit road, but I believe on a fuel-only stop. Similar stories with the likes of Mike Rimkus, Tom Dixon, and Bill English, which is why we're seeing that these guys are not working their way throughout the field so much. Remember, not only are there fuel tank limitations, but tire restrictions as well. One of these stops has to be fuel only, and looks like a chunk of your backfield. They took that splash go pit stop early on.
For sure, for sure. That is a strategy that we are waiting to see what pays off here later on in this race. He had a wreck early on in this race, and look at him, he's already looking like he's going to crack the top 10 here if he keeps going the way he's going right now. Is the exit turn 4.
He ran a good chunk of this race up in the top 10, right around the border of the top 5, and of course he took that quick repair that drivers have access to down in pit road. Now it's going to allow him to get around Jeremy Daring and try to put himself further up the field, now up to 11th. Check in on battles at the front of the field, and you can see Julian Ballou still dropping back down through this field. He's now outside of the top 5 and might be about to lose out to the likes of McLaughlin, while Patrick Hernandez making the move on Josh Berry to get around him around the high side for second.
See the damage there in the 90 truck on the left side there. Door panel of Hernandez doesn't look like it's affecting him much. Just a little scrape there as you see the 14 truck of Josh Berry ducking in right behind him. But look who's still in the lead. It is Raymond. He is now a whole second and a half in front of second place of Hernandez.
The last lap by, Raymond was up by a full 10th even, a 10th of a second quicker than Hernandez. This time by, similar story, pulls out another 10th of a second, so Raymond is on absolute charge up in front, but easy burning his tires out too early. We'll have to see how that factors in with the fuel numbers. You've still seen the scoreboard flicking around a lot, kind of in the mid-pack here. Thomas Lane Jr. going 3 wide with Christopher Howell and Mike Allen down the inside. They're going to go 3 for 3 as Lane drops 2. Howell getting really aggressive here, trying to throw his way. He's back up into the top 10, but he's trying to really throw it around Mike Allen now. I think he might be feeling like he's getting held up by that 60 truck at this point.
It looks like he is getting held up by the 60 truck a little bit, and he's getting impatient now. But, I mean, I wasn't expecting Howell to be in the top 10 with that front-end damage. I mean, what about you?
If he still had the damage, I would agree. I wouldn't expect to see him up there, but with the fact that these guys have access to a quick repair, I think that makes it a bit more likely that I would have used that one early. But there is a risk in using that quick repair early, right? I mean, he used that one on lap number 20. So if now something happens to him later on in the race, he's hooped. Do you want to take that risk when your truck's not smoking? A lot of trucks that, or drivers that early, they would just wait it out and see if there's going to be a yellow later on down the line.
For sure, for sure. As you see the 81 McLaughlin and the 14 of Josh Berry battling side by side. McLaughlin gets a little edge there, heading down this back straightaway. They're going to be side by side. This is going to be dead even. Looks like it's going to go to McLaughlin as he is going to be clear of the 14 of Josh Berry.
Down the pit straight, McLaughlin continuing his climb through the field. And McLaughlin so far plus 10 on the day. He qualified way back in 15th. He's now running up in that 5th position. A great start to McLaughlin's day. Way at the back, Alan Isaac and Rimkus have both separated back to the tail of the field, while Patrick Hernandez hits pit road. Now, is this for a scheduled pit stop? It's lap 43. I think that would be around the time we can expect to see lead lap trucks starting to come down to the lane.
I can see lap 43 being the pit stop cycle for the drivers that didn't pit so far. So it looks like these drivers can run around 40, 45 laps on fuel here. As you see the 90 of Hernandez pitting right now.
Bawalda Jr. going to go in with him, so that's going to be first pit stop for Bawalda as well. We check in on the fight for 11th, 12th, and 13th between Hales, Rapp, and Michael Mayu. Still running strong. And then how about this for former pole sitter Josh Berry? He started up in first. He's been falling back, though. He's now down to fifth, trying to hang on to a top 5 against Julian Ballou. Ballou looking to the outside, look to the inside off of 4. Tries to look for the outside of 1 and 2. Might try to get a run. Down to the turn number 3. Not close enough to go for a full set.
Yeah, Josh Berry there just holding on for a top 5 right now as we're going on 6 here with Raymond still in the lead. But now Raymond is 2 seconds ahead of the 27 truck of Greg. I mean, Nolan, do you think Raymond's using his tires up too much right now? I mean, I think it's a little too crazy.
Well, I mean, I don't even think he is at this point. I mean, yeah, he might be burning up all his tires, but if you're still able to only go to about lap 50 or so and you can walk out that kind of a gap, why bother? The tires aren't going to be falling off in that short of a time span.
For sure, as you see Raymond still in the lead here with a 2-second lead over the truck of Greg. Zalski in the 21 truck rounding out your top 3s. You see McLaughlin and Barry. It's your top 5 as Raymond is now pitting, and here come the top front of the cars. It looks like it's going to be Raymond, Greg.
Laskowski, McLaughlin, Barry, Ballou, all coming down to pit road. Several runners within the top 10. All down in for service, and it was exactly what I was saying. He can push as hard as he wants early. He's not going to be wearing those tires down until he finds himself running out of fuel. Sure enough, that statement ringing true as a few drivers already cycling their way out of pit road. Bill Hales around on the front straightaway. You saw in the background there as Hales taking a slide into the infield, but he's going to get himself sorted. He will not have a caution because this was down in the infield grass, but the number 40 truck tried to make it to pit road, and he didn't make it. He was in too hot, so we had to track back out to the race course.
That's the mistakes you don't want to make here with these green flag runs here. You don't want to overshoot the entry. You don't want to get caught speeding on pit road or speeding off a pit road. And you certainly don't want to overshoot your pit box, because once you do that, forget about it. Your game plan and strategy is done for the night, probably, if it's going to keep going like this with green flag runs, because you are going to fall behind.
I think Bill Hales, may have just run out of fuel in pit road as you saw him bring that truck to a stop in the lane. And we'll get a look on board here with the number 40 truck as he started to make his way down. And listen in. Yeah, that truck ran out of fuel, so that's a race-ending mistake for Bill Hales. He overshot, and because of that, he didn't have enough fuel to make it to the box. Meanwhile, the yellow flag is out on the race course, and we'll find out what for. As this yellow flag coming out at an awkward point, but while we try to figure out the cause of this, we'll go to a quick break. You're again watching the TNGG IEL Truck Series live on Green Flag TV. We'll be back in a moment. Dramas at Iowa.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Iowa Speedway. You are watching the Green Flag TV replay. This is what puts us under the yellow flag as Josh Berry had a moment of a turn number 4, loops the back end around, gets a bit of help for the 51, goes for 360 slide, and gets himself straightened up and back rolling. And that is what brought out our yellow flag on lap number 51. So Berry now down into pit road with John Bawalda Jr. as this field trying to get itself sorted up in the main portion of this thing, as a couple drivers having to wait for drivers to get around them, with some guys having to receive IEL penalties for entering a closed pit road. Michael Mayu, currently the race leader, plus 21 positions after a massive pit stop shuffle. Former race leader Aaron Raymond, back to 7th.
But it doesn't even matter, you know. This whole race so far, he's been very strong, and he's been working his way up through the field. Like, if he even started in the back, I would expect him to be in 10 within maybe 20 laps. I mean, he's just a very strong driver, and he's good at these short track races, so don't count him out just yet.
At this point, I don't think I'm counting anybody out. It's been such a wild race for so many drivers up in this field so far up to this point that it's been super unpredictable as how this race can go about. I should note that only 7 trucks here are actually technically on the lead lap in front of the safety car. You have a lot of trucks up here in front, though, like Hernandez and Greg and more, that are all waiting to be waved around the safety truck to the rear end of the field. So there's going to be a lot of drivers here that have a ways to go. For example, you see this massive line of cars here headed up by Patrick Hernandez at the front of the field here. Your race leader all the way back here entering turn number 3. That's how many trucks are in front of him right now, and every one of them is going to get waved around.
Yeah, with these pit stops here, I mean, it's just crucial you have a good pit stop, because it just, everything changes after these pit stops here in Iowa. It's insane.
I believe trucks are getting those wave arounds now as the field starts to double up, and they are going to have to scramble. We're going to pull up the track map here for a moment, and you'll be able to see just how many trucks are having to work their way around the race course. I don't think all of them are going to get back around by the time they go green here.
I really don't think they all are. I mean, look, the pace trucks are right down the back straightaway getting ready to come off, and there's some drivers there's past the finish line. So that's going to be very crucial for them.
Coming up to halfway, pace truck gets set to dive into pit road. And we will once again go green flag racing into the Geico restart zone. Michael Mayo, for the first time all race long, takes us to the green flag.
Michael Mayu gets a great restart there as they're side by side. His 411 truck of Dixon on the inside of Reed. Now look at that 44 truck with a great run of Isaac on the inside heading in turn 3 there.
And a lot going on right in the mid-pack as well. We have contact. Now 1 truck around, 2 trucks around. Big crash exiting turn number 2.
Horrendous.
As the whole field has to scramble. And that all collected with Bawalda, Hernandez, Hales, and more. We're under caution flag number 3.
Man, did you see the hit that Hernandez took there? I think that might have expired his engine right there.
Wouldn't surprise that there were a few engines expired as a result of that one. This all came as a result of some chaos on the restart. It was a rear end from Hernandez to Hales, but that wasn't what caused the wreck. It was the 5 Bawalda pushed up, and oh my gosh, no kidding, the 90 of Hernandez tanked up into the outside barrier. We'll get another look at this one here coming down the back straightaway. Watch as the 5 going to collect with the 27 here. That's what's going to get the 5 up. A rebound down into Thomas Lane Jr. That 90 truck almost went over to boot.
It really did. I mean, he took a really hard lick there out of turn 4. But now, is this just the aggression pumping up now that we know that we're halfway?
I think it is. I think at this point, the aggression is there, right? And you got to make a move. We're going to be finding yourself in a world of hurt position-wise later on in this race tonight. On board with Dale Rapp, we'll get a look at what he saw throughout all of this chaos. Down in the turn numbers 3 and 4. Sees the wreck coming up on him and ends up making the decision to go up to the high side, but did a good job, gently backed down and kind of tiptoed his way around that whole mess as a whole host of drivers into pit road. The good news for this is going to be able to get a good bunch of drivers back on cycle with the leaders.
It really is. I mean, if we didn't have that caution, I'm sure some of the truck drivers that never made it back around would have gone a lap down within no time. As you see, the pace truck lights are still on here on lap 60 out of 118 here in Iowa. Nolan, it's been a very exciting race so far.
I don't think that even compares to the half, but this has been an amazing race so far, and I have to say probably one of the better Iowa races that I have seen here in some time. And I can't wait to see how this is going to pan out, as understandably costs a bit longer now that we have trucks laps down. That automatically adds on an extra lap since pit road has to be open for the cars exclusively for being 1 or more laps down. Top 17 still on the lead lap. We have 22, we believe, still running though.
I mean, let's talk about Hernandez. I mean, Hernandez was really strong here tonight. I mean, I feel kind of bad for him because with that hard hit right there, I thought he was DNF, but it doesn't look like he's a DNF right now.
Quick repair. Yeah, it came in and it saved him big time, but he's behind all the chaos up in front, so it's again another problem of gotta try to hope that you can make it out unscathed.
It's really hard to trying to get through this aggressive pack right now.
See Josh Berry being put towards the tail end of the longest line as I believe he received an EOL for a pit road infraction. We are past halfway, about 50, if I'm doing math right, and take this to the pinch of salt, because as I oftenly say, I almost failed math class at several points. I believe we have 57, might be 56 laps left to go when we take that green flag.
Don't worry, I'm terrible at math too, so we're both on the page there.
There's a common saying in the motorsports world: never trust a commentator's math. It's usually
yeah,
wrong.
really.
And it's hard to. It's not a stereotype we commentators want to have, but it's hard to shake it when it is so true at every point. There's a reason why we're not strategists.
Yeah.
You speculate all we want, but we're not the ones down there in the race trucks. We'll go green this time by as the field doubles up once more. Should be a good...
I mean, my stomach's kind of nervous right now watching you.
Can't exactly blame it, as it's been a wild night so far, and it's only going to get crazier as the field comes around turns 3 and 4. Pace truck back into pit road, and we're back underway. Oh, is that a jump start potentially from Christopher Howell in the background, going 3 wide. He's on 4 spots where he even gets down and around to turn number 1. Might have just jumped that one perfectly. We'll see what happens here in a minute, though, as Howell was flying on that restart.
Howell was... I mean, if he got a jump restart, that could put him in jeopardized situation. As you see, the 6 truck on the inside there of the 00 of Malix, as he's going to try to take the lead there.
That's Michael Mayu in the 00 trying to push up and wide. Mayu going to pull clear and nearly gets into the outside wall. Brennan Gregg goes by as well. We were 3 wide. Howell sends it up the bottom into turn numbers 3 and 4. Breaks by Michael Mayu for 3rd. So Mayu dropping like a stone here as one by one, drivers that are on fresh rubber start to fight their way through.
And that's the thing, you want to have fresh rubber because you want to keep laying the grip down more so your car is better handling. As you see towards the back and pack here, it looks like, oh, who is that? The 35.
Jeremy Daring.
Of Daring battling. Oh, see a truck behind him getting the wall there. As you see Barron and the 33 there battling side by side in turn 2.
Jeremy Daring and Mike Rimkus fighting it out down the back straightaway in towards turn number 3. See the 68 laps down. That's Andrew Mata trying to climb through. Brennan Gregg putting Raymond under fire in the fight for the lead. As he's going to track up from the inside line, but Raymond pulls clear from that outside groove. And that'll cause, in fact, Greg to go too wide into 3 and 4. But look at the charge from the outside line. And Raymond, I think, got loose off of 4. He moves to the bottom. Brandon Gregg trying to take the lead away down into turn numbers 1 and 2.
And look who's right behind those two battling. He is the number 1 truck of Howe. I mean, look at the runs he's getting down this front. I meant this back straightaway as he's entering turn 3.
Christopher Howell doing what he can to try to take this lead away. Raymond again having to fight to the bottom, trying to hang on to the race lead. Brandon Gregg still working the top shelf to try to find a way through. Christopher Howell making the look for second. It's not going to lead to anything, though. Howell's going to have to tuck back in line. And I think Brandon Gregg is about to give up on his fight for the lead here. It looks like Raymond's got himself secured for now.
That's just for now, but don't get out the 1 truck. He's very strong. I mean, look at the... On the second police driver comes down the front straightaway. I mean, the top 3 have basically pulled away. As you see the 27 truck a little slow there, and Howell's patient wants to just try to get around him.
As one battle starts to dissipate, another ramps on up as Alan Isaac looks for the inside of Patrick Hernandez down into turn numbers 3 and 4. Hernandez, meanwhile, going for the outside of Tom Dixon in the 411. Dixon up 12 already after he did not qualify in the start of this race. And now he's going to almost, I think he will be losing out on that 7th spot here to Hernandez. Hernandez can continue to pull the high lane and get clear. And it looks like he will. Hernandez back up into 7th.
Hernandez, after that horrific wreck just 10 laps ago, already in the top 10 here, currently holding 7th place. Right behind him, you see it 35 once again. Battling side by side here, as now they're filed out.
Jeremy Daring now having to fight Mike Allen off of turn number 4. Taking the laps over, we are well now into the second half of tonight's 118 lap, 100-mile affair. The 60 of Allen tracking up from the bottom, and that's going to put the 35 into the outside wall as Daring gets scared up the track. Baloo going to go to the inside, and Baloo a lap down is going to split up this battle. Brendan Gregg and Christopher Howell still locking horns in their fight for second. That's allowing Raymond to start to pull away as Howell clears for that 2nd spot.
That's what Raymond wants to see right now, is that 127 Greg just battling back and forth, because they keep doing that. Like you said, Nolan, he's just going to coast away. As you see the 052 truck there now coming into play, that is Schlegel. Was having a good run here at Daytona early on. This seemed washed up a little bit out of turn 2, but still keeping strong here in top 5.
Time continues to tick away as, again, more drivers back in the mid-pack starting to get locked in some fights. Still looking at Dale Rapp and Alan Isaac. And now Mike Allen trying to work their way through as well as Isaac drops a pair. You can see that 60 truck try to apply the pressure here to Dale Rapp down into turn numbers 3 and 4. See if he can't make that move up and break it to the top 10. Mike Allen, of course, started this race up in 9th. He's been on the back foot for a good chunk of this race. He's trying to finally get himself on forward foot and to start to push his way towards the front of this field.
See 60 of Mike Allen there, really battling really hard right now. That 52 truck with Brad for the top 10 position here.
Yeah, fighting big time with him, but so far, so well for Dale Rapp, who's been able to fend him off for the time being. It's not the only fight. The further back you get, the more the battle starts to taper off. This is the next furthest one down the racetrack between Bill English and Mike Rimke. As we can tell, they're not side by side. It's not going to get too much with them for now. Michael Mayu, though, trying to go for the outside line to get around Brad Slagle and regain lost ground, move to fourth. Slagle doing a great job on pulling clear down from the bottom lane, and I think Slagle might be able to fend Mayu off. Oh, maybe not. The better run through four for the 0-0 around the outside.
Like I said, that's the advantage. Drivers on the outside, you can get a nice correct past the driver on the inside. As you see the 052 truck of Slagle there, getting behind the 0-0 there of Malley. As you see, Slagle's sitting there comfortably in the top 5 now. Under fire here from Reed, that is literally on his corner panel coming into turn 1. And it looks like he might lose another position here, Nolan.
Timmy Reed on a charge here as he's fighting it out with Brad Slagle for that 5th position up on the racetrack. You called it right, looking for that inside line down in towards turn number 4. Gonna track out down the front straightaway from the Iowa Speedway. And he's gonna end up backing out entirely as Slagle going to find himself losing a bit of time. Now can Reed look for the outside as Slagle back down to the bottom. You can see the varying lines here, which really makes Iowa such a dynamic race course, which does make it a favorite among racers and drivers alike. I think that's gonna be a spot gained here for Timmy Reed, and it is. He's up to 5th.
I don't know what's going on with Slagle right now, but he is out of the top 5 now. And look at Hernandez. He is coming strong once again. Getting a nice little run there on the 052 truck. Slagle's going to have to find a different line or something if he's going to climb back here into the top 5. I mean, I don't know what to tell Brad here.
See Patrick Hernandez looking a bit dicey as he's trying to find some way through. I think part of what might be really hurting Slagle here is the fact that he last pitted on lap 50. He's only made 1 stop tonight. A lot of these other drivers, they've made 2 already. And I've noticed a lot of the drivers that are only on 1 stop, even though they've only pitted recently to other trucks in this field, they still were the ones on the back foot, and Slagle, no exception to the rule. It's worth noting, we are getting closer and closer to that point where we'll be seeing drivers come down to pit road, I think, within the next 15 laps or so.
For sure. And for Slagle, I mean, do you think he's playing a different strategy than the rest of the drivers? Trying to save some tires for that end? I mean, does he think there's going to be more cautions? I mean, what do you think he's thinking right now, Nolan?
At this point, I think you kind of have to play your strategy by ear. I mean, there's been so many cautions that have thrown the strategy into the wrench, into the works, and I think it's just like what we saw over at Phoenix, and in fact, even at Atlanta the week before. The cautions come out right around the pit stop window, which makes it a lot more difficult to really kind of war game out your strategies. And now a lot of drivers, I think, are kind of playing it by ear. They're going to see what's where, kind of judge it about every 5 to 10 laps or so and see where things are rolling from there. Patrick Hernandez gets around Timmy Reed as Reed gets a bit crossed up on the exit of turn number 2. And we'll get a look on this one as you'll watch Timmy Reed pull down the inside, had to kind of pedal that truck off of the second corner.
And not just let Hernandez fly by there, as now Hernandez is top 5. And Raymond, once again, pulls away from this field with the second lead over number 1 truck of Howell. The top 2 strongest drivers so far. But, I mean, there's one driver that is shocking me tonight is McLaughlin. I mean, what do you think about McLaughlin tonight?
Brandon McLaughlin, I don't think he's in a position that anybody thought he would be in. I don't think he's in a position he wants to be in. He's 2 laps down. Any hopes of a win are effectively over for that number 81 Super Chips Ford F-150. think all the problems early on really just kind of destroyed McLaughlin's race. At this point, he's running out here in the hopes that maybe trouble will befall other drivers. So that way he can make up some free points on just drivers not finishing this race. But so far, the only DNF we have is Bill Hale, despite all the carnage we had around the midway point.
And it looks like McLaughlin right now is just in the turns right now. I mean, it just doesn't look balanced. It looks like it's a little too loose for him, and it's just playing out for the favor tonight. But I really thought McLaughlin was going to be up front.
I think a lot of drivers expected he would, and of course comes into this race, again, 12 points shy of our current points leader entering tonight's race, so it's not been a good run for McLaughlin, and he's going to be looking to definitely improve on that as things move along throughout the course of tonight's race. We'll check back in on fights further up the field. Still watching this fight between Mike Allen and Dale Rapp, excuse me. These drivers have not gone anywhere thus far, and I'm not expecting that Allen's going to be getting by Rapp at any point soon at this point as Jeremy Daring hits pit road.
Yeah, I don't see anything changing for the rest of this race. I think now they're all spread out. I think this is how it's going to be. I do expect it to be a long green flag run here from here on out.
Lunging for the outside is Mike Allen. He's done waiting. He wants to try to force a hole open and get around the 52 Rapp. Cuts back for the inside. That's a great move for Mike Allen. Goes for the over-under and does it perfectly. Sends it up the inside, but Rapp does a great job on defense. Covers off that bottom lane, and he's going to hang on, which, again, really demonstrates how difficult of a racetrack Iowa Speedway is and why it's so difficult, because you need to be able to roll such a wide line to be fast around the corners, right, especially around the bottom. So if the driver above you can just pin you down to the inside, there's nothing you can do about it. You have to lift out. The truck's just going to track out of its own will right into the truck ahead of you.
It's gonna, I mean, that's what happens here on these short tracks. As you see a battle here of the 86 of English and the 33 of
Mike Rimkus.
Like Mike Rimkus there for the 86 of English. Rough time here throughout this race, but look at he could possibly crack top 10 here.
Possibly so, as have to work up 6 seconds to do so, but we've seen crazier on the racetrack running. This is the fight for 13th between Rimkus and English. Thought they might have a bit of a hand to play, but I'm going to look up front to race leader Aaron Raymond. Lost a lot of time over recent laps with the likes of Chris Howell, and you can tell, look at how much that gap has just shrunk down from 8/10 down to 1 in the span of the last 5 laps or so. I think now Aaron Raymond has burned his tires up, and Brandon Gregg now makes it a 3-car fight for the race lead as we rocket off of turn number 4.
Raymond under pressure now from the 1 truck of Howell. Very strong here tonight, but look at the 27 of Gregg sitting there in P3. Wondering if any contact's going to happen here between the top 2 drivers. If so, he is in position to get around them. So the 1 truck in second, trying to get around the 6 truck of Raymond going in turn 3.
20 laps to go. Is there still one more pit stop at play for drivers in this field? This is about the time where they came down last time through, and we might actually be able to make it back to this race clean. On fuel, Raymond's too wide off of the second corner. Here comes Howell lunging for the inside into turn numbers 3 and 4. Christopher Howell, after all the struggles he went through and bringing out our first yellow flag of the race, he's going to try to power through and take up the race lead. But Aaron Raymond pulling again from the top shelf down to 1 and 2.
I think that's going to be the end of it for Raymond now that he used to. I don't think there's going to be any more cautions here. We might down, get a splash of fuel or something, but I don't think that's going to happen here as we are 18 laps left here at Iowa. As you see the 1 truck trying to get around Raymond.
They do have to pit. Brendan Gregg could not make it. Neither could Hernandez, Mayu, or Reed. The top 2 still have yet to box. And they might be coming down nose to tail as Howell again having a track to the inside and almost lost the back end. Raymond way up the
Here he
racetrack,
comes.
trying to set up a run. He's coming to pit road. So Raymond flies in the lane. He locks the back end. How's that for a power slide on pit entry?
Oh, baby. That was very interesting. Imagine if he barrels right there. That would have been the end of his rear.
I thought
right
it was
there.
hitting them for sure.
Yeah, I don't know how he saved that, but now what about Howell? I mean, I don't know what's going to happen here now, because I thought he might have thought that Raymond was going to go in the next lap, but Raymond sure did trick him, and that could put him in to a dangerous spot here. As you see Howell now pitting, and Slagle in the 052 truck has taken the lead here at Iowa with just 15 laps to go. As they're cycling through here, there's Raymond in the 6 truck.
And on the track map on the bottom left of the screens, you can see Howell as well, still in pit road, trying to see if he can't make his way out in time. And look at how much Raymond has gapped Howell by on pit exit. That's down to a tire strategy. Howell took 4, Raymond took 2. Is the 4 tires going to be enough to try to reel in Aaron Raymond in the dying laps?
We're about to find out here as we are in the closing set here for this race here at Iowa. As you see, the 86 truck of English taking your lead here 105.
Rapp and Slagle both in the pit row. Bill English still out with the race lead, but he cannot make it. He's got to pit at least one more time, or only one more time to make it to the end. He last stopped on that 58. Everybody else had pitted around laps 50 to 53. So we know Bill English cannot make it. Aaron Raymond, though, the net race lead by about 6 seconds over Christopher Howell.
But look at this. Look at the gap here closing in on the 86. Now come down pit road. That is going to Raymond now to be your leader here at Iowa once again. And this is going to make Howell P2. So here we go. We're going to see if the 4 tires are going to affect the 2 tires on the 6 truck of Raymond. This is what we've been waiting for here in Iowa tonight.
Oh, Howell's in a lot of lap traffic as well. That's not going to be helping the number 1 at all. That's going to be killing his pace here. Trying to get to the inside of the 44. He has to jump out of the throttle to avoid running over Alan Ives. That's going to cost him half a second right there. That's stuff that at the moment Howell cannot afford to have happen to him. We'll check back in on the few laps, see where that battle is at. You got this one here, though, between 8th and 9th. This is Mike Allen and Timmy Reed fighting it out for 8th.
Timmy Reed been very strong here tonight in that Toyota truck here. As you see, the 60 of Mike Allen just ahead of him. Right behind him is the 14 of Josh Berry.
Still a lot of battles yet to be decided. Patrick Hernandez has Brendan Gregg trying to hunt him down right behind. There's Aaron Raymond, and here comes Christopher Howell down the front straightaway. We'll check in on the lap deltas between the top 2. Well, that's not very helpful for the bottom right. That was from laps 91 to 96. But you take a look at the deltas on the bottom, and overall, Howell is closing. Lost a quarter of a second. That was due to lap traffic, though. So he is closing in with the 2 tires. It's just not going to be enough to get him by the end.
I don't think so. I think Howell, he tried his best here with this tire strategy. But I feel like if he went into 2 tire strategy, he might have had a shot. But I still think Raymond would have had the edge.
Timmy Reed going for the over-under in the fight for 8th. Reed's going to look to the inside to get around Mike Allen. And he's just barely going to pull clear. Allen way up to the top, and that's going to force Reed now on defense. And Mike Allen's not going to be able to fight back into 1.
Now let's say the 60 Mike Allen and the other truck of Timmy Reed. Imagine if they caused a wreck right now from that. Then the race would be very interesting. to see what would happen between the 1 truck and the 6 truck of Raymond.
All of a sudden, Raymond would be incredibly vulnerable and in an almost undefendable position.
For sure.
Time continues to wind down. Howell and Hernandez at the moment, the closest fight on the racetrack. At this point, Howell's got to give up the fight for the lead. He's not going to get there within 5 laps. Patrick Hernandez, he's going to be the driver that Howell's going to be fighting with the most by the end here.
For sure. I mean, this is going to be it. With 4 to go, there's no way there's going to be a lead change. But were you expecting Raymond to win this race here tonight?
I got to be honest, after he wrecked into the outside wall, I did not peg him to be a race winner. I thought he was going to be kind of just trying to push out through the mid-pack. I did not expect to see him pull out what he did, but for Aaron Raymond, it's been a masterclass for himself. He's been on a great run here. Oh, and hello, contact between the 411 of Dixon and the 81 of McLaughlin as they go 3 wide. And that's McLaughlin trying to fight his way through on fresh rubber. Up to the top shelf is the 35 as well. Dixon fighting it out at the moment with Jeremy Daring coming to 3 to go.
With 3 to go, there is a very strong battle here. As you see the 411 truck and Hernandez.
Oh, hello.
Tight. Wow, that was tight out turn 4 there. Man, some great racing we're seeing here tonight, Nolan.
Absolutely phenomenal. The 411 into the outside wall. That's going to cause Blaskowski to scramble. Daring up to the top shelf. Tom Dixon being swarmed at the moment from all sides as he tries to work his way around.
Yeah, as you see, nothing changing here for the top 2 drivers. 35 is in the wall. That's Daring. As you see the 86 there of English getting around him.
White flag, meanwhile, for Aaron Raymond, catching up to lap traffic of Josh Berry, the driver that started on pole position. What a run for Aaron Raymond. After he found himself with some trouble, he's going to come around turn number 4, and he'll win the Hogpack 100 from the Iowa Speedway. What a wild, wild race that we saw here tonight as Bill English having troubles, it looks like. A lot of damage on the right-hand side of the number 86. We'll jump back and see what happened here for a brief moment as, oh, just some technical problems, it looks like, for the 86. But again, what an incredible drive for all involved in this one after an absolutely thrilling race here tonight. And that's going to see Aaron Raymond get set to burn it down on the front straightaway from the Iowa Speedway on a very well-deserved win. We'll take a look at your official post-race results here tonight from the Iowa Speedway, where it is Aaron Raymond to take the W by 5 seconds over Christopher Howell on a late race pit call. Patrick Hernandez rounds out the podium. Brandon Gregg brings it up in 4th with Michael Mayu down in 5th. Dale Rapp is in 6th with Brad Slagle in 7th. Timmy Reed is 8th. Josh Berry is 9th. Mike Allen for the top 10. From there, it is Tom Dixon, 1 lap down, along with Jeremy Daring, Mike Ribkiss, Bill English, Julian Ballou, Anthony Mata, and Alan Isaac. Joel Ambualda Jr. was 2 laps down. For they got Brandon McLaughlin, 3 down, along with Blaskowski, Amaro, and Thomas Lane Jr. Bill Hales, the only retirement from your race here tonight. What a night, though, that we've had here from Iowa.
It was an incredible night here at Iowa. The truck I saw here qualifying, from the truck drivers having these problems here tonight. Hernandez having an incredible wreck here tonight. And the 6 truck of Raymond there when he was coming into pit road tonight. But man, it was an exciting race. And it's only race 4 out of race 29 here. Incredible season so far.
It's been an incredible season for sure, and we'll be able to talk to some of the guys now that finished up here on the podium after an absolutely bonkers race tonight. And we'll start things off with the number 6 driver, the one that takes home the W after working up 7 positions. It is race winner, Aaron Raymond. And Aaron, what a night it was for you as you come home and pick up a race win here from Iowa.
Yeah, it was good race. I had a lot of fun. Had some good battles. Had to drive through the field a few times.
Let's kind of walk us through this race as a whole. Obviously, it came down to a pit strategy right at the very end. Why don't you kind of talk us through what it was like having to make that call right at the end to take 2 or 4?
Well, I was originally planning on taking 4 tires, but the people behind me drove me down and passed me, and I realized my only thought to win was to take 2, and from there I was just managing the gap, trying not to crash.
Obviously, this is going to be great news for your run for the championship standings, as we'll get set to go racing here next week for what I believe will be the Lone Star JW Graphics 200 at an old Texas Motor Speedway. And the old 2009 layout has not seen a lot of action on the iRacing surface for many years now. What's going to be the thoughts as we get set to go back old school racing?
I like the old Texas better than the new Texas, so should be able to win.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to get you another race win over the Texas Motor Speedway. We'll see you down there in Fort Worth. For now, congratulations on your race win tonight from Iowa.
Thank you.
That was Aaron Raymond joining us up in his Camping World number 6 Chevrolet Silverado. We will move on down to our second place finisher, one Christopher Howell joins us up here now. And Christopher, my goodness, what an emotional night for you. I mean, after that initial wreck, we thought perhaps you'd be out of it. You fight your way back, though, to take a second place here. We'll start with the elephant in the room. Why don't you talk us through what it looked like when you ended up finding yourself at the outside wall?
We were coming out of 4 there, and Thomas and Patrick was ahead of me, and I don't know if Thomas got tight or whatever, but they were checking up, and so I checked up some because I didn't want to run over him. And Colt, he just threw it in there, you know. He definitely used me up, but it's okay, it's fine, because I rebounded. So yeah.
Of course, it was a big rebound up to second place. No doubt the quick repair having a hand to play in that one, but obviously you had to fight your way through the entire field. You found yourself, luckily, in front of a lot of the mid-race chaos we had there. Why don't you walk us through what it's like then having to fight your way up from the back again?
Man, when that caution came out when I was on pit road, I was kind of frustrated a little bit because I had fought my way up to, I think, 8th or 9th at that point, and I was like, man, am I seriously going to lap down? But fortunately, I got the wave around, and there was a quick caution there, and was able to just, you know, keep hitting my marks and move my way up. And actually was a little bit faster than Aaron on the long run. I had caught him, and he made a better pit strategy call than me with taking the 2. I took 4 tires. I think if I would have took 2, maybe I would have had a shot. So.
And, of course, next week we go racing down to Texas Motor Speedway. Obviously, with this second place, you're going to be boosting up your standings here in the championship. So what's going to be the strategy as we get set to go racing for 200 miles?
I guess since I got this second, I guess I could be a little more aggressive. But, man, I still have to make up for Atlanta and last week. You know, I made some mistakes of my own, and I was in contention for those 2 races there, too. But, you know, it is what it is. It's racing, stuff happens. You make mistakes. So next week, just try to keep the rear tires on it. I know Texas is real big on the rear tires. So yeah, Texas will be fun.
Well, we'll see you down there, Christopher. Congratulations on that second place finish. You've earned that one tonight. Congratulations again. We'll wish you the best of luck in Fort Worth.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Y'all guys have a good night.
That was Christopher Howell joining us up here in his Zest Toyota Tundra. We'll move on down, hopefully, to our final finisher, or podium finisher, of the night, Patrick Hernandez. If we can see if we can't get a hold of the driver of the number 90 machine, we will pull Patrick Hernandez up here now. We'll give a chat then to the driver of the number 90. Patrick, much like Christopher Howell, you found yourself hard into the outside wall, but you managed to rebound back at that Rayburg Silverado, and you find yourself taking up a 3rd place at the end of the night.
Yeah, man, the truck was strong all night. I didn't get the qualifying that I was hoping for, but I was like between 1 and 1st, you know. That's what I was expecting. At some point, I tried to chase down the number 6, but he was on another zip code. So I tried to save the best position possible, and yeah, man, and that crazy restart, a couple guys wrecked in front of me, and they hit me hard. I had to use a fast repair. I had to go, man, with a with a set of shock tires, all that stint, but still, the truck was strong, and I was fortunate to still have some speed with even with bad tires.
On that last pit stop run, you decided to take 2, whereas a lot of other drivers opted to take 4. You just barely managed to get by Brent and Greg at the buzzer to pick up that 3rd place. And what was the motivation to go for 2 instead of 4, like most of the other drivers in this field did?
I was like, with 20 to go to the pit stop, I was like thinking 2 tires or 4 tires. 2 tires, man. I was in a hard debate, but in the end, I decided to take 4, and I don't know what happened to Brandon. I just like they dropped the jack. I get out of there like a rocket, and then I saw that he was like exiting at the same time. I said, man, I'm not gonna live. We're both gonna we or one of us gets penalized because of the pit exit cone, or we both made it. But thankfully, I managed to get some traction and gain the edge over him.
And of course, when we go racing next week over in the Texas Motor Speedway, it is, of course, a home race for you as we get set to go racing in the Lone Star State. What's going to be your thoughts then as we get set to swing down to Fort Worth?
Yeah, my hometown race. I'm expecting to have another strong run. I can't tell you that I will win it because I don't know. There's a good competition here, but I will bring my number 90 Ray Brick Silverado there, and I will try to put a good show to my people.
Well, we'll wish you the best of luck when we swing out to the Lone Star State. For now, though, from Iowa, congratulations on that 3rd place finish. Best of luck next week in Texas.
Thank you, sir.
That's Patrick Hernandez in his Ray Briggs Chevy Silverado for Watt Shorney Motorsports, bringing it home tonight on a 3rd place finish. And that's going to be it for our podium finishers. But what a night to end this one out here then, Daniel. Obviously, we get set to go racing next week once more for the Lone Star JW Graphics 200 at the Texas Motor Speedway. What's your take as we get set to go back to 1.5 mile racing?
For sure. Now the short track racing is out of the way. Now we're going back on a mile track down to Fort Worth, Texas. Now, it's not going to be the new figure. I know it's going to be the figure. So I'm waiting what would happen here. So I mean, I wanted to see how these truck drivers can handle on these old tracks. I can't wait to see what happens.
And neither can I, and we'll get back to all of that and more next week for the TNGG IEL Truck Series. We go set to go racing over at the Texas Motor Speedway. For now, though, here from Iowa, it is time to say farewell. I've been Ola Rempel with Daniel Paulus Jr. in the broadcast booth. You've been watching Green Flag TV. Be sure to tune in next Tuesday night when the OMSRL Xfinity Series swings down to Homestead Miami Speedway for their season finale. That and more coming up next week on Green Flag TV.